Hello and welcome to this video. Oh, that is the corner. So, if you don't know me, I'm Christian, build my own company with business partner Michael. We help coaches grow their coachancy or their coaching business by getting them clients. That's basically what we do. So today, we're on a nice little walk here in Madrid. That's not what this video is about though, because that doesn't really matter, to be honest. Where I am, I thought I might as well just bang out a video while I'm running, while I'm walking. So today, I want to talk a little bit about friendly faces, right? Because I've been thinking about it lately, and a lot of people have this thing where they put on a face and they try to seem nice, but in reality, they actually have some pretty disgusting ulterior motives to them. And that's really what I want to talk about today. Now, I'm sorry if this camera footage is a bit shaky, and if I sometimes drop it like to this. That's simply because I just did a shoulder workout, and keeping my phone up here hurts a bit. But let's get into it. So, let's just start off with what I mean by this. So a lot of people can seem really nice, right? And they can seem a lot of things, right? Now, a lot of people can seem timid, not really that assertive, maybe not that confident, maybe not that much of a shark or a wizard as you may think. Now, like you think, oh, it's just the dog from the corner, right? Oh, that's just that guy, right? You don't really pay a lot of attention to them because the surface is really docile, right? There's not a lot going on, meaning that they hide. Well, let's not talk about that. The person that they show to others, the face and facade that they have on constantly is a nice, timid, lovely person, right? Oh, he's always ready to help or something like that. And this builds a kind of, what do we call it? This builds a kind of shield to them, right? A barrier of illusion. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some people who are just like timid and docile, and that's how it is. But there are also some people who just appear to be, and inside they're actually really cunning, smart, and intelligent, and they know that they're using that side and that part of them to hide their real intentions of what they want to get. And I personally find that extremely cool and extremely dangerous in the same time. Because some people, right, it makes you, like, once you start thinking about this and getting a bit aware of it, it makes you start thinking about the people around you. Oh, that guy from class, he seemed really, like, timid, not really a lot going on. Oh, there's also that guy from work. Yeah, he was really not, the most attentive. He was just there in the background. They really paid a lot of attention to him. Now, this means, I don't know what this means, but you can essentially say that, just walk a little closer right here. But you can make some definitions that a guy like that, you might start to get some assumptions, you may start to have some beliefs about who he is, how he acts, and how he reacts to things. And you start to print an image of who this guy is, or a woman for that matter. I'm just using a general term here. But so this guy, he is very good at building up a perceived persona, right? Now, usually this is like, if they're really good, they build this up over a long amount of time. So when they've built this up, let's just say 5-10 years they've built on this persona, then they start to act in their intelligent ways, and they start to use some of that like cleverness and intelligence that they've been hiding under the facade the whole time. And this ends up with you completely ignoring them as a factor or as a contributor to things that might happen. Because you think, no way, no, this guy, no. This guy right here, dude, he's a timid little dog. He doesn't say a thing. That can't be him, right? And this, like, I know, because I know that, right? I have people that think about like that. It's not a very nice thing to think about people, but they can't do it a little bit themselves. So if people, I'm sure you have some too, you just think, that guy, he wouldn't hurt a fly, right? That guy is a sweet little one, or that girl, she'll never hurt anyone. Like, she just so nice, right? Like, everybody loves her, but no one really pays attention to her or anything else, because she is just that sweet, innocent little girl, and there's not really a lot to worry about, or a lot of danger. Oh, that is big. Alright, 1 second, just cross over here. So essentially what this means, sorry if I'm a bit tired today, it's just this walking, you know, it gets to you. But no, so when things start to happen, let's just say like normal days, but some weird things start to happen, like some people start to get really unlucky, some events start to happen that you really can't explain why they happened or how they come to happen. And it seems really strange in this matter. It seems really strange that these things happen this way. Now, like we would never, like we would just think, oh, that's unlucky, right? But these occurrences start keep occurring. But what you don't realize, or what you don't even want to think about, is that it could actually be that timid little guy who's always been sitting in the corner, not really budging anyone, who is now starting his Machiavellian plan to, well, take over the world, right? Like, essentially, that's what I'm saying. What I'm trying to give you off here is that some people spend so long building up a cover and a persona that when they start to act, they have so much freedom, because no one, literal, no one expects of them to do such acts and deeds. And this, it might take a long time for some of these people to build this, but once they've built it, it can take years for people to discover that it's them. Because through years, they've built this belief that this guy, he's a calm chap, right? He's a nice guy, there's not a lot going on with this guy. And this is when these people start to have a lot of power, because now you can't really control, you're not even aware that all that's happening is because of them, because you're not wanting to even give it the thought that, oh shit, it might be this guy. Oh, dude, I'm just walking here like a fucking moron, not really looking where I'm walking. And what tends to happen is a lot of these people, they get so much freedom to act that in the long run, like for 20, 30 years, a lot of things tend to turn out in their way. And they end up in very powerful positions with a lot of power and a lot of, what would you call it? They end up with a lot of power and they end up with a lot of authority. Not actually authority, just a lot of power and influence in places where you wouldn't have expected them. And when they rise, it's only when it's too late that you realize that person has been fooling you all along. It's only when you realize it's too late and you can't really do anything about it because they've amassed so much power that now you're basically fucked. So, and yeah, I mean, at this point, when they get this far, they are so strong and have such much knowledge, and like their position is so strong and great that they're in a place where they have a lot of power to act, and they're basically unstoppable to a certain degree, right? To a certain degree. But that's basically people that I'm talking about. Even though they might appear friendly, like underneath, they're a freaking monster, I swear. But it can be really hard to decipher who is who, what is good, what is bad. Really, really hard. And sometimes even too hard. I have no idea where I am. But I might be able to find back to my house. Maybe. I haven't walked here yet. So, that's the one guy I want to talk a little about. Now, let me start. Now, this is like the general concept of what I want you to know in this video. This is the person that you should be focusing on. Now, let's start looking at some tendencies and some moves that this guy has and how such a person is actually created. Because this is when it gets really interesting. a lot of people like this, it happens in their early childhood. Let's start with that, start how they're built. A lot of people like this, they begin to evolve these tendencies from a very early age and very early on. And this means that, or how they do it, basically, is that when they're children, I'm sure I get this right. Let me just think for a second and say the right thing. When they are children, they get overlooked in a way, right? And they don't feel like they don't really ever actually get the attention which they might want or desire, but they find out through especially their mother and father that this, like, they have a power over them, right? Even though as a little child they figure out, right, like a baby, it's crying, it looks sweet and innocent, like, oh, this is a cute little baby, but this baby is making noise so it can get something to eat, right? Now sometimes if the parent acts in a certain way with a certain behavior to this, where it's really just as soon as the baby gives an order like that, it's just like the aggressiveness that it shows under a nice friendly face, it learns that is a really good way to gain influence over someone. Is that putting yourself in a position of non-threatening, right? A position where you don't seem like a danger and actually quite nice and cute. That when you're in a position like that, you have a lot of power to easily weigh people, right? And this power can be used, like really can be used, and they learn this. And this is why they start building this facade to know to the right moment to strike, then they start. And it's insane. And a lot of the tactics that these people use are passive aggression. I don't know if you know what passive aggression is, but this is basically initiating emotions in someone that make them frustrated, angry, annoyed, just bad emotions in someone, without directly confronting them in a one-on-one, or without directly confronting them. They are able, they inflict emotions in someone without directly needing to do it. Like without actually going in and verbally saying to them something bad that they know will fuck them up. Now instead, they plant like small tripwires for the person to walk over. It's planting small things here and there that's usually really toxic, but really great at getting people to do what you want, because they fall into this trap really easily. And when they're activated, they just flip out, make irrational decisions, and feel quite annoyed also. Like passive aggression, I wanna make sure that I'm really doing it justice by talking about it like this. But passive aggression is a strategy that you can use to be passive aggressive. This means you're aggressive without the physical confrontation of doing it. You plant small psychological bombs here and there to seem like you're actually not doing anything wrong, which in turn, they have no way of tracking it back to you. And a lot of passive aggressive users, they become so good at it that even though they plant the seed, they make their victim feel like they're all to blame. They initiate the emotions, and they make their victim, whoever they're using this passive aggression towards, they make their victim feel all the guilt. So not only did the person initiate this action, right? But And he succeeded in his initial goal, but he also made his victim take blame for fucking himself up. And there are some people in the world who are really good at this, like insanely good. And children are usually really good at this, because they find it's a very effective way to get what they want. And getting what they want as a child gives them chances to explore, to know more, to learn more. Because when children, we are relentless in our search for knowledge and information. And this is something that we tend to slip up a bit as we get older, unfortunately enough. So our hunger, like our endless hunger for getting, like for learning more and getting more knowledge, kind of disappears in some way. And that makes it really, like a lot of adults have it really hard, actually, like learning and going beyond themselves and expanding who they are, and they stay stuck for a large part of their life, even though there's just so much more to learn when you get old. So yeah, and what happens a lot of the time, right, is that this is some time of it, but all of this where these people actually come from is aggression. And this is like the emotion that controls all of this. The emotions that initiates all of these actions of the passive aggressive, and the ones who are aggressive behind a friendly mask, so you don't realize. All of this is the source of aggression that we as people feel. And this aggression is tied to our willpower to learn, to grow and get better as children, and to explore. And we are relentless in our way of enforcing this upon ourselves and upon others. So here, we gotta step back, right, and look at this. And it's actually quite interesting when you think about it. Because this aggression, it drives us when we're young. But usually what happens when we get older is that we evolve it into timidity. And we start to realize that the world might not be at our grasp. Like our perspective of the world, let me just sit here for a second to finish this video off. So our perspective of the world and our perspective of how things work and the world work around us is that it is, like when we're children, it's our for the taking. We can do what we want, we can get to where we want. And when we get older, it tends to happen that we evolve into the stage where we can take what we want. The world is beyond us. It's first the world, then us, right? And we become, what would you call it? Like more timid, right? We give up. We have a sense, like that hope we had as children of becoming what we want. We completely lose that as adults because we realize how small and insignificant we are. Even we really aren't. We are. It's a bit of a paradox. And like this voice who previously excited you to go out and learn more, to gain more knowledge, has now turned into something that keeps dragging you down. Like, you're not good enough for this anyway. There's others that's better than you. You shouldn't do this. You really qualified for this. Always pulling you down when you're trying to get back up. And this is the emotion, and this is this aggression that turns inward. Like the internal saboteur, whatever you call it. Someone who sabotages yourself, right? And we've all done it, like self-sabotage. This is something that everyone does. And this is actually where it comes from. Is that we feel insignificant. And we get to the stage in our lives where we believe that us doing action and us taking action has a chance of us ending up in a worse place than where we are. So for our brain, it's easier, saves a lot more energy by not doing an action. Because we stay in a place we're certain that we know, even though sometimes it might suck. Because the energy and the brain just focuses on saving energy and optimizing. That's also why like TikTok and shit like completely exploding, because it's fucking with our brains, because all the stimulation and all the what's the word don't remember, dopamine like instantly hits and it fucks us up, I swear. So yeah, but really, I know you all know about this, like the self-sabotage, and it's not a pleasant thing, but it is a part of it. So yeah. Alright, I think I've talked enough for this video. I don't really want to talk anymore. So yeah, thanks for taking a walk with me, and if you liked the video, give it a like. If you want to see more of this kind of content, subscribe, and yeah, see ya, bye bye.